Well, hello, and thanks for joining us here for another special edition here with Dr. Rachel Bruno. We are going to be talking about something that impacts all of us, our first responders. I think we can all say if they're not feeling well, it's probably going to be a good chance that while they're trying to help us, it's not going to be the best experience. So, what can we do as a community to support them? And Rachel is going to share with us some things we can do and a little bit of what she is currently doing to help support our special community, the folks we rely on so much. So, Rachel, please share with us your specialty.
Hi, Glow. Thank you for having me here. As you said, my name is Rachel and I am a medical doctor. My background in medicine combined with certification and studies I did on well-being, stress level have gave me a pretty much unique, I would say, overview on stress. And I'm particularly interested, although stress affect all of us, I'm particularly interested by first responders because they take care of everybody and they
Hmm.
don't always have the time to care for themselves. Burnout in those professions is a real thing. And that's why I am passionate to help this particular group of people because they give so much. One of the things that we all know that probably, and I'm preaching to the choir. One of
Hmm.
the things that stress does to our body is it can affect every aspect of our lives, physical, our mental, etc. And one of the problem is when we stay in a constant state of stress, we put a strain on our body. We are not meant to be constantly in high alert. As people would say, more currently, the fight or flight response. We should, if we are in a danger or a situation, we should be in fight or flight. And then after that, relax our bodies. To put it a little bit more simply, they talk a lot about the autonomous nervous system, where they say we have two pedals, we have the gas pedal and we have the brake pedal. Most of us operate on the gas pedal and we forget to press the brake. And when we are always on the gas pedal, Glow, if you have a car and you're only pressing the gas pedal, what's going to happen?
Well, I live in South Florida, so I think all we know is gas pedal down here. Not a whole lot of braking going on. But I
And
get what you're saying because before I got into the field of like marketing and consulting, I worked in the hospital and I thought that was going to be my career for life. And I did mostly night shift trauma and radiology. And just the pressure, it takes a toll on first responders. I've seen many of my nurse colleagues, they would get certain conditions. Um, they'll get sick, be gone from work, and they'll come back and they'll get sick again. And I know, especially the night shift, I started to do like research on that. And it's almost like you want to help and serve. And I noticed a lot of my colleagues as well. We had a deep passion to help and serve at the expense of our own health. I mean, this
yes,
is gonna sound crazy, but I used to drink like 2 or 3 Mountain Dews was like my go-to at 3 a.m. Stay awake, and it got to a point where I wasn't even sleeping. Um, some days I would go like 2 or 3 days, taking like maybe an hour or so nap, go back to work. But I had a lot of energy. But that's when I was in my 20s, so really I couldn't last that long, which is why eventually I did get sick and had to transition out of that. Well, I chose to transition out of that field, but it's like a silent killer, just having like the this chronic stress,
yep,
right? And then I saw a lot of premature death. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I can sincerely say a lot of my colleagues, I would watch them burn out. I even had one of them, you know, self harm. You know, I don't want to say here. I don't know who's watching, but it did eventually lead to death, right?
Mhm.
So it's a sad thing, and you know, if you could share maybe some case scenarios that maybe you've worked with some clients that may help, especially like the moms who are listening to these messages, you know, just maybe a couple of tips that they can do or implement right away. I know you have your book coming out as well, talking about
Yes.
all the free things you can do to um, drastically reduce stress. So I will be quiet for now.
I can even start with myself, even before talking about any clients. When I migrated from Haiti to
Hmm.
here, it was a new environment for me. And one of the issues that I was facing, I came with a kid, I didn't know the system, I had to adapt. And it was very fast paced, didn't know what I was doing very well. I became very stressed out. By becoming so stressed out, for the first time in my life, I had to take blood pressure medication
Hmm.
because I went to the doctor and I said, I think my blood pressure is getting up because I
Hmm.
was so stressed. And I started to do some things that are in my book as well. And I want to say that that book is a combination of things that I've tried and
Hmm.
I experimented in my life. So I started to exercise and eat better. And
Hmm.
everybody would say, oh my God, that is so simple. You exercise and you eat better. But guess what? Even though I was somebody who really watched what I ate, I realized that those two sometimes they were not enough for me. I
Hmm.
needed something else. And that's when I started to look into stress. I was like, okay, something is wrong. And I started to dive into it. And I started to implement some exercises to release my stress level. And
Hmm.
that was a shift for me in a lot of things in my life. I'm not going to say that I'm totally stress free. Nobody is. But now I can recognize that a stressor when it's coming
Hmm.
to me, and I can implement a tool to
Hmm.
calm myself down.
I mean,
Um,
you brought up a good point. It's not really about being like totally stress free, but it's about having some sort of a strategy or tool so you can build up some resiliency as we
mhm,
go throughout life to deal with these stressors and the uncertainties of life itself, right?
exactly. For instance, one of the simple things that I did with a client was as simple as breathing. We were
Wow.
having a group session, etc., and one of the clients was talking, and I could see that she was really agitated and she was stressed out by what she was saying. And one simple thing we did was we stopped her very
Mm,
gently, but we said, we need you to pause right now. And after she paused, and we said, let's take a breath together.
mm, mhm,
And we make sure that when I say we, I had a co facilitator. So the two of us, we made sure that she took some time along with the group to really take a deep breath. So we
mhm,
take a couple of deep breaths together. And it's something that people sometimes forget how important it is because they shallow breathe.
mm,
And when she took that deep breath, after a while, when we said, okay, how do you feel now? And she was like, oh, I feel better. As
yeah.
simple as deep breathing can help you feel better. Another good tip people sometimes overlook is shaking your body, dancing.
Mm,
When you are stressed out, especially if I'm going to have an important meeting, what I would do is I would put some music on and I would shake my body at least for a good 4 minutes. like nobody's watching me. I don't care. I close my door, and
I wouldn't
if
want
I'm
someone watching
if
me.
I'm self if I'm conscious of my body or something, I would
Oh,
close my eyes. I would advise you something, and you shake your body from head to toe, like shake it like you mean it. And what that does for you, it's recirculate the energy in your body. It loosen up your body. It moves your body and the energy in it. And
mm,
you can take a minute of pause to feel your body after you shake it like that. You take a minute, you feel yourself. Where do you feel some tension in your body? Do you feel something different? And then you can put some music, some calming, soothing music, and you dance for 1 or 2 minutes just to get your body back to the normal rhythm, etc. And this doesn't cost you anything, and
mm,
it's something that is under 10 minutes that you can do to really shake off the stress of the day, or if you're going to have an important meeting and you're stressed out. Simple
mm.
technique that somebody can use.
Well, one thing that I started to do that helped me was incorporate some essential oils. Lavender
Mhm.
was like my go-to to help me sleep. And the other thing was like doing a body scan. I call it a body scan, but it's
Yep.
almost like taking a break to like check myself, engage my senses. Like, what am I smelling right now? What am I feeling? Like, what am I touching? Take special note of the surfaces that my fingers are touching. Um, what type of taste or flavor. I mean, when you start to get that intimate with yourself, especially in a time of high stress, I find that it was helping me to cope. Even in certain times driving, you get someone that's having like a road rage moment, and then you have to like try to control yourself so you don't react to them, right? Because we never know what someone is experiencing, especially nowadays. A lot of folks have like extreme stress, cost of living went up, especially as moms, kids making noise. I'm suffering right now from chronic noise annoyance, if that's a condition. I just made that up.
But what you are saying about connecting to your senses, etc., that's mindfulness.
Oh,
And that's mindfulness. And you are being, it's like, it's a type of, I would say, meditation where you are connecting with your senses. What are you feeling? What are you hearing?
hmm,
What are you experiencing? And that is something that people, when they think about meditation, they think
mm,
that you have to sit like zen. No, you don't have to do that. You can, there's several type of meditation. Like when I mentioned shaking and dancing, when shaking your body,
hmm,
chanting, that's a type of meditation too.
mm.
But mindfulness is more like, and there's meditation like contemplative, where they tell you focus on the noise, focus on something. But mindfulness is you're using your senses, you're using to connect. And you can do it while you're walking, you can
Mm.
do it while you're cleaning your house, you can do it while you're cooking, anything.
Well,
For
a tip
instance,
for moms. Oh, sorry, I
yeah,
cut you. I was just
for
gonna say one thing I do to help relieve stress with my kids. I cook with them and I let them
Mhm.
taste. And is it like a mindful type cooking?
Yes,
That's the only time I could get them like experimenting and engaged. So it's been really helpful.
yeah, and you can ask them, how does it feel? And one of simple thing you can do next time you're cooking with them, let's say you take a, I don't know, a carrot, or let's say a tomato, you cut the tomato, you
Mm-hmm.
can ask them to hold it in their hand, to
Mm-hmm.
smell it.
Mm-hmm.
So they engage their touch, they engage their smell, look at it. What does it look like? What is the color?
Mm-hmm.
Do they see any different? They can touch it, like put it next to their skin if they want to see how cold it is or not, and put it in their mouth. When they put it in their mouth, don't swallow it right away. Take
Mm-hmm.
some time to see how it feel in your mouth. Is it chewy? Is it gummy, etc.? And then chew it as slow as you can. so
Mm,
you can feel the food getting in your mouth, and when you swallow it you can follow that food. Your kids are probably a little bit too small for that, but you can try it. You can follow the food going when you're swallowing it, going to your body. But for that you have to take the time to
mm-hmm,
slow down to experience that. One of
mm,
my clients, she we did a experience with mindful eating,
mm.
and she called me after and she said to me, I went to a fast food restaurant and I bought a burger and I put the food in my mouth, trying to do mindful eating. And all I could feel is my body telling me, why are you feeding me plastic?
Wow.
She had to stop eating and throw the food away. Until that day, she cannot eat fast food because every time she tries, her body starts saying, and she tries to eat it mindfully, her
Hmm.
body's like, what are you doing? So now that helped her eat better
Wow.
and see what she was putting in her body. You see?
But I would
So,
imagine too, like us having a fast-paced life, the stress. I'm sure even for me, sometimes I say I inhale my food because I'm going all day, and I don't even remember how it tastes or anything. I just in my mind, especially if it's fast food, McDonald's is McDonald's all day,
mm-hmm.
right? I try not to go there to get no sensual flavors enhanced in your mouth. So I would imagine, like you said, I now you, I wonder if I probably won't do that when I'm trying fast food because I might feel the same way,
Yeah,
except if
but
it's
try
pizza,
it. Just take a
you know.
piece of fruit. And one thing you can do, and you're going to see the difference. Take a piece of fruit, whatever
Mm,
fruit you like, and take a piece of candy or
mm,
something like a Oreo and things like that,
mm,
and try to eat both of them slowly, mindfully. Think about when you take the piece of fruit. Let's say you're eating a strawberry, and you're trying to understand, where did that strawberry come from? What farm? Or how did they plant it? And you look at it and you touch it. How does it feel, etc. And put it in your mouth and take the time to taste it. Does it bring any memories to you? All of these are mindful eating. Does it bring any memories, any connection?
mm.
And then try to do the same thing with a piece of Oreo. Where does it come from? How did they make it? Does it bring any memories to me? Try to touch it, put it in your mouth, think about where it's going in your body.
Mm.
And then one of these days, tell me, how did you feel about both of those? Okay. So,
Well, I know we could go on, and I hope folks reach out to you, especially if they know any first responders looking to avoid premature death. I know we all would say, yeah, I want to avoid premature death, but really and truly, especially if you are a mom, right? I'm telling you, reach out to Rachel because it's so worth getting that stress under control before things sneak up on you. So,
hmm
yeah, it's worth it. I mean, you're it. Everybody is dependent on you, and I think most moms would agree that we are very famous for not taking good care of ourselves. We
oh,
serve
yes.
everyone else, and in the medical profession is I want to say it's mostly women.
hmm
Um, so we have to be more mindful of that and try to incorporate some of these things you talked about. But I think we are going to be looking forward to seeing your book in the near future, sometime in 2024.
hmm
So, that being said, thanks for joining us here, and we look forward to having you back soon.
Thank you for having me. And one last thing I wanted to mention is to be gentle with yourself. We usually try to be our hardest critique, Be gentle with who you are. Meet yourself where you are right now. It's better to do 1 minute of self care than
Mm-hmm.
to do none. So meet yourself where you're at, be gentle with who you are, and remember to love yourself every day. Nobody's going to do it better than you.
Mm.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Moms, you guys know where to find her on the Mompreneur directory. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.